Step right up and join the most vibrant circus community in the world, circustalk.com. This is In Center Ring. I'm your host, Jonathan Lee Iverson. Hers is a life of adventure, collaboration, and flight. An unlikely but welcome journey under the big top. She now sets her ambitions on making her beloved Central Florida brim with all things circus. In Center Ring presents Kristin Mass.
We're talking to the one and only Kristin Mass, aerialist circus performer, and really budding entrepreneur. I mean, now you're really going to take your show virtual, which is what we're seeing more and more during this time of COVID-19, the pandemic, the whole bit. We're seeing shows attempt to render virtual offerings, and I think it's a brilliant idea. I'm wearing one such show now, my buddy's show, the Bernardo Circus. They're about to premiere their third online offering in September, I believe, and there are various other shows. I'm actually going to be performing with Lone Star Circus, and we'll have an offering at the end of September for the Lone Star Circus, which will be virtual. So, I mean, I guess this is the way we're going now.
Yeah, got to roll with it.
Yeah, absolutely. Tell me how you came to circus.
So my circus journey started in 2008. I was just, sitting on my couch, and I saw a commercial for, or not a commercial, but like a news story on, at the time it was anti-gravity. And so I really just wanted to get involved, and they were holding classes. So I started taking aerial classes, aerial silk, aerial hoop classes with them. And I got my first performance opportunity about a year later. And then, the rest was history. I mean, I clung to it as hard as I could. And I started coaching and performing. I had my own kind of performance company side hustle. I opened up my own school in 2014, ran that for a couple of years in Longwood and then Lake Helen. And then I went to NECA and taught there for a couple of years.
So, oh, right. So you had the compulsion bug that really happened.
Yes.
No, I hear you.
Absolutely.
Yeah, everybody, I tell everybody, running away and joining the circus is a myth. It calls you. It's a calling. It's like you're drawn into it, and it's like Neo in the Matrix, you're just drawn into this fantastic world. Now, are you strictly an aerialist, or are there other disciplines you also display?
Well, currently I'm doing aerial. I also, do dance and movement and things like that. So, that would be more or less my ground act. I'm getting pretty good at hooping. So like object manipulation, I'm trying to learn that. I'm in my mid-30s, so, like object manipulation seems like a nice transition, into middle age as a circus discipline. So that's pretty much what I'm doing these days.
Well, as you know, there's no middle age or any age with circus. It's children of all ages. It really, I remember when I was at Ringling Brothers, we had people. I remember we had this daredevil, the late, great Victor Urias of the Urias family, and they had their Urias Globe of Death, 3 motorcycles inside the 16-foot sphere with the lady in the middle. Yeah. And Victor was like 62 at the time. And it was just amazing. Wow. He was there with his sons. I saw the same thing with this fantastic Russian acrobat. He had this wonderful teeterboard troupe, and he would do the finale trick on stilts, where they teeterboard, they jump down, and he backflip on stilts, 60-some years old. So, I think it's an ageless craft. I think as long as you're obviously taking care of yourself and doing the right things, you age like fine wine. You age well with with this particular discipline.
Oh yeah, definitely. It's and you know, it's funny how like your training changes. In my 20s, you know, I could just literally like roll out of bed, you know, maybe eat breakfast, maybe not eat breakfast. Maybe I was drinking the night before, maybe I wasn't, and just go to the studio and, you know, knock out 2-3 hours of training. You know, these days it's like, all right, I'm going to wake up. I need to make sure I eat. I need to make sure I drink enough water. I need to make sure I work out my rotator cuffs because they're both bad. You know, and like make sure that that's good, make sure I stretch, and then, you know, I'll get like an hour or so on the fabric itself, or, you know, the hoop or whatever it is I'm training. Yes.
So when you talk about your particular discipline, I always love to hear about each performer's particular icons, the people that you looked at or looked up to, the artists that really stirred your blood and really caused you to aspire even more. Who are they for you?
I have a few. So when I first started, I used to watch Christine Van Loo's YouTube videos all the time. And I mean, like back then, you know, it was like there was maybe like a handful of YouTube videos that you could watch, like a handful of artists out there. But like she was one of them, and I watched her act religiously. I was like, I need to learn how to do this skill. I need to learn how to do this transition, blah, 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 which back in those days, you could not learn from YouTube. Nobody would teach you anything that you saw virtually. Now we're all learning virtually, which is just crazy to me. But yeah, she was one of them. And then of course, Tanya Burka, who's like the queen of all things aerial. She's amazing. And Katerina Shustova, she's just like, she's awesome. I discovered her maybe, I don't know, 6 years ago. She had an act, I think it was called Purple Zed Circus or something like that. And like, wow.
Took your breath away.
Wow. Yeah, she is incredible. Absolutely incredible.
That's lovely. That's awesome. Now, I mean, obviously we're down in this this new reality of ours where everything is virtual. But I mean, before, you know, everything shut down, what were you really aiming for as far as live performance was concerned? Were they particular stages you were looking to perform on?
Well, you know, I had just gotten like some traction with working full time and, you know, doing circus on the side. So I was performing a lot like downtown Orlando. I was doing, you know, just like random kind of corporate gigs, you know, just whenever I could, special events and things like that. But the two women that I was training with, we were talking about potentially opening a space. We were, you know, getting all of our like acts together. The one woman that I trained with, her name's Tara Bosevska. Everybody knows her in Orlando, but she's amazing at like hooping and all this stuff. And, you know, she does fire. And so, you know, the other woman I trained with, Elise, who's the recreation director at Ace Gymnastics, where we were all training, we're like, we're going to get our own gig, you know, we're going to get a rig, we're going to do all these things. And we had mapped it out where we were going to do that. And then COVID hit. And it was like the gym shut down. We were all separated. I mean, you know, we were like, we had nowhere to train. I mean, I didn't have a rig at the time. I didn't know what was going to happen, but you know, the goal was to more or less launch something locally and, you know, get people kind of redefine the circus scene in Orlando a little bit. You know, it's kind of divided. The aerial scene is, I don't know. It's not very inclusive, if you ask me, coming from NECA, where everything is inclusive. And, you know, New England just has like their circus community is really tight knit and everybody looks out for each other. Boston has a like a union for their circus people. You know what I mean? So it's like, it's really cool. But here, you know, it's not really that way. So our goal was just to kind of bring everybody together, redefine what the circus community looks like here, you know, start kind of a grassroots performance troupe and shows and everything. But, you know, our efforts were a little thwarted
Right.
by the pandemic.
Okay. Now you say some interesting things in your statement, and one of the things I noticed mostly is you're doing a lot of collaborations with women, and I'd love for you to really, give us an inside look on the advantages circus facilitates for women to, you know, really pursue their artistic aspirations and even our entrepreneurship, the freedom that is really permitted there. I mean, this platform that I generally see in circus where, you know, women are really given free reign, so to speak, to just really create their own reality. This is very unlike the corporate world, very unlike even the theater world and other corners of entertainment where you don't see women really participating, not just on a performance level, but we're talking about even running it, you know, selling the tickets, producing the show, directing the show, writing the show, choreographing the show, you know, conducting the training, recruiting, the whole bit. Please tell me about that, what that process is like, and really just how empowering that is for you.
It is very empowering, you know. So throughout the years, like I said, I opened my own school. I was running my own program, and collaborating with women is great in this space because there's strength involved, right? So what we do requires a lot of physical strength. And, you know, I feel like as, you know, women in this space, we're encouraging each other. You know what I mean? We're always motivating each other, like, let's get stronger. You can do it. Come on, push through. And it's the satisfaction you get from like a job well done, something you thought that you could never do. And we're all experiencing that. And so I think that that's, you know, a big catalyst for change and improvement and, you know, creating your own reality. You know, there's a lot of creative freedom in circus and in choreographing acts and expressing yourself. You know, I think overcoming struggles as women, especially, like I've met all kinds of women in this space who, you know, like had nothing. You know, maybe they've been working a corporate job their whole life, you know, afraid of stepping up or, you know, like voicing their opinions or whatever, and then become really physically strong through circus or aerial specifically, and then be able to go back and say, you know what, I have this confidence now. I can do this. You know what I mean? Like nothing's going to stop them. And definitely two inspirational women for me are definitely Elsie and Serenity at NECA, because I mean, no one is going to push them around. like you meet these women in here and it's just like, no, we're not tolerating it. No one's pushing us around. We're doing, you know, what it is that we want to do or feel we need to do. And I totally respect that. I may not agree with everything that's happening, but like, I definitely respect that. And it's been eye-opening for me to be able to take that and just like implement it in my own life, no matter what area it is, like whether it's me being a mom or, you know, at my corporate job or just in life, you know.
I like that. Now, you did speak of your corporate job, and, you know, that's something that's really always the strange dance I think a lot of us artists have between having the job and our real work. You know, I heard someone just really extraordinary said, you know, never confuse your job with your work, because it's very easy, because, you know, you have to eat, you have to fund these streams, you have to make a buck, you have to live. And the actual work you really want to do isn't always, or at least it's not at the level necessary to just self-fund itself or fund you. So of course we have to lean in and get these corporate jobs or whatever job it may be. What are the challenges and what are the positives of, having this, I guess, you have this job here where you can lean in and, you're going to be okay. You'll have a roof over your head or what have you, and having the energy and the focus enough to still go and do your work. How would you speak to the many artists, especially now, who, the rug has been pulled out from under us, the curtain has been drawn temporarily, and so many are pivoting, myself included. Many of us are pivoting, looking for new things. What would you suggest as far as keeping your eyes on the prize, which is your real work, and how to manage in that job space?
It is a very delicate balance. So, I was very recently laid off from my corporate job. COVID just kind of did its thing there too. But it's like, I'm a single parent, so I have to have a full-time job. You know what I mean? Like it's not optional for me, so I would suggest that when you're looking for a corporate job, or if you have something else, like a different skill set aside from circus that helps you make your living, it's so important to find a company whose culture resonates with you. Company culture is huge because you could work at a job that's really demanding and really stressful, and you will just have no time to devote to your creative pursuits or your real work. But at the same time, it could provide you with a lot of inspiration for new acts or, making a statement. You might be exposed to things in your corporate job that you never would have been exposed to previously. So it is a good source of inspiration in that regard. But timing is everything. Scheduling is everything. Discipline is everything. We already have discipline in us as circus artists, but when you add this next layer, so much more discipline. I mean, just you have to wake up at 5:30 in the morning. You wake up at 5:30 in the morning. You get your training in. You do your job. You get the kids settled. After your work day, you put them to bed, and then you train again after they go to bed. You know what I mean? Like it's a constant thing, but it's worth it. It's so worth it. But yeah, discipline is number one.
Well, yeah, you hit on being a master of your time. I mean, that's you kind of scared me when you said that waking up at 5:30 in the morning thing. Just coupled with being a parent, and we reach a certain age. I'm in my 40s. And I don't know, man, it's so funny. A friend of mine, a wonderful musician friend of mine, made the joke. He said, 40s is supposed to be the sexy years if you weren't so tired all the time. And it's like me and my bed are just we love each other too much. And, I've broken that habit as much as I can. But, I think you hit on something so vital and so very important that I think should resonate further with a lot of people who might be watching this in understanding time management, which itself is its own kind of discipline and that mastery. And I appreciate that. I really want to get into your show that you've been putting on. You and I have been corresponding.
Yeah.
And, you've been talking about just not this show that you're going to put on August 28th, but, just a lot of different things you're formulating, you're putting together that you want to offer throughout Central Florida, Orlando area in particular, where you're really focused on illuminating the circus culture in the way that you express it. Your show will have, I believe now, am I correct? This show on the 28th, it'll have, you'll merge with some burlesque displays as well. And we've been hearing about that wonderful combination with a lot of circus artists. Please tell us about it.
Sure. So I'm not involved in that production like producing it, but I'm a part of the show. So I came across a burlesque show like kind of by accident, and I was at the show. I was like, oh, this is really cool, and was watching whatever, and I met another performer. Her name is Misty Rose. She's amazing, and she said, if you want to get involved in this, like as a circus vertical, she's like, you should really check out this program. It's a program called the Burlesque Conservatory, which is a combination of Foxy's Den, Midnight Fables, and Big Bang Boom Cabaret. So these women all got together, and they were like, we're doing this, and the first class happened the week before COVID.
Wow.
So,
is it safe to say COVID is a man?
yeah, I know, right? Oh, God. Probably.
He's an angry man. He's an angry old man or something. Like,
yeah,
it was depressing. Let's do something about this.
I know. It's like, it was such a struggle to get through everything. And the original production was supposed to happen at the Parliament House at the end of June, I believe, if everything was, going smoothly. So now, obviously, we're not going to, be at the Parliament House, but we're going to do a virtual show on the 28th. It's backstageburlesque.com is or burlesquebackstage.com. It's the platform where you can like buy tickets for the show and everything. But it's really great. There's a lot of really talented performers. We all went through this struggle together to put this thing together and put our acts together, and it's been a really great journey, and I'm very, very excited for the finished product. So yeah, it's been awesome.
That is wonderful. Okay. And we did discuss certain, you did talk to me about like just other different offerings you wanted to put together as well, not just this particular one, but why don't you tell me about some of those?
Sure. So like I was saying before, the women that I was working with, we had a vision of kind of creating a new inclusive circus community in Central Florida. And so one of my friends there, she's actually moving to Texas, so she's not going to be a part of this right now. But in that interim where we weren't training, I actually linked up with my friend Teddy, who like I had not ever really trained with him or talked to him previously. I like met him one time, but I knew he had a rig, and I was like, hey, I'll pay you if I can just come to your house and use your rig, please. And he was like, yeah, don't worry. He's like, I'm going to invite some other people too. And so I met, this girl named Christy and Jessie, and I had already known Valerie and Tempest prior to that, but we all got together, we all trained, and we're just like, no, this is what we're doing now. Like, it's a great group of people, and we have all talked about like what we're going to do next. So we decided that we're going to start doing pop-ups. Now, we've called ourselves the Central Florida Circus Collective, based in Lake Nona. That's where Teddy lives. He has the rig, so we go there. Okay. And we're actually going to do the first pop-up in Lake Nona. I don't know how familiar you are with the area, but there's a YMCA there.
Okay.
And we usually set up behind the YMCA. And so that's where our first pop-up is going to be. We're kicking around some dates right now, but we have that in the works. And then, another goal is to try to obviously book gigs and find a space. We're looking for a space. We would love to be able to scale this. We have one of the performers in the troupe. She actually teaches lessons in the mornings in Lake Nona, because we've amassed a following there. People will come over and talk to us. It's like, they see this happening like in their backyard. Like, they want to be involved. They want to know what's going on. So people will just set up and watch us. And we need to put a tit bucket out at this point. Like, we've made friends with the gardener. His name is Jose. He's awesome. And we have a mascot. His name is Captain. One of the students that Valerie teaches, their dad comes out and helps us set up and whatnot, and he has like the most amazing dog. He's a golden retriever. He's the most beautiful thing ever. He's so super sweet. So it's been very enjoyable, and it all kind of happened not by accident, but you know, I wasn't expecting for that to happen. I wasn't expecting to make these friendships with these people, and you know, the Circus Collective looks a little bit different than I thought, but it's actually happening now. So it's really great.
How wonderful. I mean, you touched on something so vital and so important. It's this wonderful step on faith that you did in really just going for it. And the community has basically, it emerged, you know, the community that you needed, the community that you didn't even know you needed, suddenly has come your way, so to speak, and surrounded and supported what it is you've dreamed up and expanded the ideas you've had. I mean, I think that's probably the most wonderful thing about this, you know, like we start off with some vision of what it is we want or where we think we're going, and then this community shows up and starts forming, and before you know it, that idea, that vision suddenly expands in directions and places we could have never perceived before. How wonderful that is for you. Now, if you can, I've been anxious to meet her. If you can tell me about Libra Moon, is it?
Oh, yeah. Yes. Libra Moon is my alter, is my alter ego. She's I use her for my burlesque vertical specifically. So, you know, it's kind of, you know, you have your circus life, I'll say my corporate gigs, and then you have your, you know, alter stage name. You have to have an alter for burlesque. It's like one of those things.
Listen, I like it. She's not for children of all ages, I can assume.
Yeah, not really, not yet. Even though like she's going to be doing more of a cabaret type performances, which there's like all different kinds of burlesque, which I had no idea until I got involved with the Burlesque Conservatory. So, you know, there's like traditional or, you know, classic burlesque, which is like what you're used to seeing, you know, like the first examples that pop in your head. And there's like neo burlesque, which is like different kinds of it's like, I can't even really explain it because you'd have to just like watch something that's neo burlesque to understand what it is. Then there's like satirical burlesque, which is, you know, exactly what it sounds like. You know, you're playing a part, you're making a point. It can be political, it could not, kind of, it's like more acting. And then you have cabaret, which is like specialty acts. So, you know, that's going to be my, you know, venue, my vertical, so to speak. You know, trying to figure out a way to incorporate like aerial into that, incorporating, you know, dance and movement and whatnot, but still telling a story. As a performer, I love storytelling. You know what I mean? You know, you get booked for these gigs, which is just like atmosphere, where you're just basically performing, you know, in a corner somewhere, people are walking by, you're like an art installation. Oh, okay. You know, like that's fun too. But as far as choreographing and putting acts together, I love telling a story, you know.
It is all about the story. I love that. You know, lastly, I'd love to know what are you foreseeing? I mean, I know it's been very unpredictable for us all. Mean Mr. COVID has upended so much of what we planned to do, what we wanted to do, and all of those things. But best case scenario, we're coming out of this. And what are the future plans for Kristin Mass and, well, we'll say Lady Moon there, Libra Moon? What are those future plans performance-wise?
Well, so obviously, yeah, performance-wise, I have to get a new demo made. My demo is so old, and it's just not updated at all. But so that's goal number one. Goal number two is, you know, really sitting down, hammering out an acts that I can take anywhere. You know, I've started and stopped choreographing so many times, and I need to stop doing that. I need to just commit to one idea, which is, to me, is like so hard to do. But yeah, demo, new acts, keeping a portfolio of them, and then, you know, marketing myself, and creating a new space, and just, yeah, like getting a space, maybe coaching virtually.
So you're going to stick to this format of the virtual, and I guess we'll have to. I mean, I think this is just a new reality. I'm hearing that from so many people now, that, you know, they won't just be, even if, you know, best case scenario, COVID just went away and we opened up tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I think everyone's realizing you still have to really set your heels down and invest in this virtual world. We're all learning. I mean, I started this show that we're doing right now just on a whim, really, just laying down going, okay, I got to do something. And I think I know a few interesting people that'll do it along with me. But I think this virtual reality will definitely be a part of our performance life, more so than we ever could have imagined pre-COVID-19.
Yeah, I got to figure out a way to shift and change and make it work, you know?
I love that. Yeah, well, that's what it's called. It's always about morphing and evolving. Hey, listen, Kristin, I really enjoyed you. Thank you so much for taking the time. Ladies and gentlemen, children of all ages, she is Kristin Mass, or for you all older children of all ages, Libra Moon.
Black experience in circuses go back hundreds of years, and we do it with our own style. The circus has been a microcosm of the outside world. Many of the same prejudices that you see in the outside world are present in the circus.
So it's moving past the vision, or the limited vision, that the society has for you, and stepping into the talent and skill that you know you have to go forward as a performer.
The circus is a vast international community, and there's only one place to connect for jobs, events, the latest news, and so much more. CircusTalk.com. Join today.